Thanks once again for dropping by the channel. If you like the content, if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe, share the video if you enjoyed it, if you felt it was useful. Let's get into this. So, last night we had FA Ajagba versus Jonathan Rice. Now, FA Ajagba won over 10 rounds. This was a top-ranked debut. I hadn't seen Ajagba since March when he fought Kajanu. I think that was the last guy he fought. He stopped him in 9. Now, I was going to say Kajanu. Ajagba in this fight. Now, Jonathan Rice, although he's lost several times, he really is a journeyman at this stage now. He's tricky, it has to be said. He can make life difficult for you in there. And I didn't know this, but these two had recently sparred. Now, they said that on commentary. I'm not sure how recent it was, and was it over a prolonged period of time? I don't know. But Jonathan Ross he would have probably known a little bit of what he was getting himself in there for, because obviously if you spar, familiarity tends to breed contempt. So he would have known a bit about what he was getting himself in there for. Having said all that, Ajagba in this fight did not look good. You know, and me saying he didn't look good, I think that's being generous. If I want to be perfectly honest, he looked as slow as molasses, and he looked about as graceful as an elephant in there. Seriously. And like, I don't want to say critical. I've been critical of Ajagba before, and I think some people, like, it's like when I criticize Billy Joe. When I see things in a fighter that they're doing in or outside of the ring, and I don't agree with it, or, you know, I think these issues need to be addressed, I just say it. If Ajagba had gone in there and he'd blown Jonathan Rice out of the water, I'd be saying fantastic performance, right? But this performance was not good. There was things in there that seriously need to be addressed, right? Now, he has changed trainer. I can't remember the guy's name he's training with now, but before, Ajagba was training with Ronnie Shields. Now, Ronnie Shields, I've always said this, is an underrated trainer. A very underrated trainer. He had the Charlos at one stage. I don't know if he has them still. And he had Erislandy Lara at one stage. He'd also trained people like Mike Tyson. I believe he trained Mike Tyson for the Lennox Lewis fight. So, Ronnie Shields he's been in around there with good fighters. He's an underrated trainer. He is a very good trainer. Ajagba's gone on to a new trainer now. And what I saw in there was a guy who was standing so upright, it was insane. Like, literally, he was just like a statue in there sometimes. He was throwing his jab. Very rarely was he mixing the jab up to the body or head. It was just primarily a head jab. You know, no feints. Looking to set up a right hand. And when he did land the right hand, it was a slapping shot. Like, if you see in the second round when he buzzed Jonathan Rice a bit, it was a real slap. Now, it shows how much power is in that right hand, because that was kind of landed with like the fingertips of the glove, and it hurt Jonathan Rice. Ajagba, though, I think Ajagba has the memory of that Ergo Calcides, I think is the guy's name, fight, where he hurt the guy, he went in, and he ended up getting caught, because Jonathan Rice was hurt, but Ajagba just went through the motions, stuck with his jab, didn't press the action. And you do wonder if Ajagba had been able to fully rotate that right hand and catch him with the knuckle part of the glove, Jonathan Rice would have went down. No doubt in my mind he would have went down. Would he have got up? Remains to be seen. But no doubt he would have went down. After that, we saw Ajagba look to try and land the right hand. He was not really having much success landing the right hand. And whenever he was throwing it, it seemed like he was slapping with it. It didn't seem like he was getting full rotation to that right hand. And he was getting caught himself. You know, the fourth round in particular, I mean, the head movement wasn't there. His foot speed was very slow. Look at the fourth round specifically, because that was a worrying round. Not in a sense that he was buzzed or anything like that, but just how easy Jonathan Rice was able to land. And what Jonathan Rice did in there is he took the right hand away from Ajagba, and it really showed some of the holes in Ajagba's game even further, because Ajagba has no left hook. He's not really got an inside game. People compare him to Deontay Wilder in a sense that he looks to set up the right hand, but he's a bit more technical. Deontay Wilder is so fast with that right hand, and there's so much power on it that Wilder can nullify a lot of his flaws, so his technical flaws that Ajagba doesn't have. But Ajagba doesn't have Deontay Wilder's power. He doesn't seem to have his speed either. Although Ajagba's not a massive heavyweight in terms of his weight, he's about 6'5". He's been reigning around the 220s. He just doesn't seem to have Wilder's foot speed, doesn't seem to have Wilder's hand speed, doesn't have Wilder's power. I think that's fair to say. Ajagba's not feather-fisted, but Deontay Wilder has crazy power. Like, I mean, there's hard punchers like Ajagba, Anthony Joshua, and then there's Deontay Wilder, you know? So, I mean, no one has his power in the heavyweight division. I think that's probably fair to say. But again, like there was a lot of things in there that were really that need addressing. All right, I don't want to say worrying, but I think they just need addressing. Now, Jonathan Rice, as I said, he took the right hand away, and Ajagba had no answer, so there's no left hook developed there. There's not really an inside game. Ajagba wasn't feinting really. These are things that you should be doing. You know, feinting with the jab, feinting with the right hand. You know, maybe leading with a left hook, come back with the right hand. You know, I've seen it several times in gyms where someone's jabbing right hand, and then they decide, you know what, let's lead with a left hook and follow up with a right hand. You can land the right hand that way. You know, I've seen Wilder do that actually. You know, where he's led with his left hook and he landed with the right hand. You know, right hand straight behind him. So, you know, the fight was there. In a way, the fight was there for Jonathan Rice to win. He was too negative. You know, he was throwing very, very few punches. But when you watch how much he was landing, you know, he was having no trouble landing the right hand on Ajagba. So all of these were worrying signs, and the commentary team as well said the same thing. These are things need to be addressed. You know, before Ajagba is willing to go in there with a top 20 heavyweight, he needs to address these matters. Because if you go in there with a top 20 heavyweight based on the performance I saw tonight, he's going to have some problems. Seriously going to have some problems, you know. So he needs the work to be done. You know, he's young enough, he's still in his mid-20s, so there's plenty of time to get that work in. But definitely we need to see some improvements in Ajagba. But he needs to develop a left hook. He needs to stop being so reliant on the right hand, and he needs to learn how to rotate it well, because like I said, he slapped a lot in there with it tonight. You know, as I said, the right hand that he landed on Rice in the second round, if he got full rotation on that right hand, might have put him down. He might have got up, but it would have been a knockdown. So, and you know, as well as that, if there was fans in the arena, they would have been booing, because it was not a enthralling heavyweight contest. Let's just say that. You know, so that was my thoughts on this. Ajagba needs work. I remember Dell in one of my live streams, Blue Cross Sport TV, shout out to him. He said that he thinks that Ajagba needs a lot more seasoning, and I have to agree with him on that, because he's been talking about, you know, stepping up, going on and fighting, you know, this guy. He needs to have a lot more learning fights before he goes in there with a top 20 heavyweight, in my opinion. Would there be any top 20 heavyweights that I would pick? I don't know. You know, I would say maybe Hellenius or someone like that, but even then, Hellenius can punch. And if Jonathan Rice is landing right hands on you, you'd imagine Hellenius would be too. And you don't want to stick your chin out for Hellenius. Ask Adam Kalnacki. So, that was my thoughts on this fight. Like I said, Ajagba got the win. You know, Ajagba got the win. It would have been way worse if he lost. So he got the win. We'll see who he fights next, what he does next. But those are my thoughts on this. Like I said, I'm giving my 2 cents. And these are things I think need addressing. You know, the commentary team even said, you know, very slow. Needs to move his head a lot more. You know, little things like that. Even when he throws the jab and he comes in with the right hand, he's closing the distance down for his opponent by leading in with his head forward. So, like, if you're an opponent, if you're controlling range with your jab, right, you don't want to give up that range. So when you're stepping in with your right hand, you're not going to want to, like, I'll give you an example. When Eubank Jr. fought James DeGale, Eubank Jr. is someone who doesn't like to go looking for opponents. What James DeGale was doing in that fight was he was throwing punches, but he was stepping into Eubank Jr.'s range where he shouldn't have been, because he could have kept it at long range. Meant Eubank Jr. didn't have to need to close the distance. James DeGale was doing it for him. Something similar with Ajagba here tonight. So, you know, definitely needs some work, but we'll see what he does next. You know, we'll see how he goes with this new trainer, and it'll be interesting to see who he fights next. So, those are my thoughts on this fight. Leave yours in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. Do you disagree? Do you agree? Let me know in the comment section. State your cases, state your points. If you think I'm wrong, let me know why. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Leave your thoughts down below. Smash the like button, because it helps out this channel so goddamn much. You just don't know. As always, people, stay safe. I'll talk to you. Peace.